gentlemen, please welcome Senior Vice President and General Manager, Global Solutions and Alliance, Dell EMC, Armughan Ahmad.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for taking the time. It's afternoon. I was telling John and team backstage that afternoon sessions are the power sessions because in the mornings you go through those keynotes, and we thought it'd be good. As John mentioned, there's a bunch of partners, Dell EMC, HP, and then Ericsson talking to you about this, and we thought it'd be good for us to share a little bit about Dell EMC with you, number one, but more about what Dell EMC is doing with Red Hat, OpenStack, and our partnership, and how are we making that real for you today. So first of all, if you've not been paying attention over the last year, it used to be Dell, and it's now Dell EMC, as you can notice. We went through about a $67 billion merger with EMC and VMware and Pivotal, RSA, Virtustream, SecureWorks. All of these companies are under the banner of Dell Technologies. We're super proud to be the world's #1 infrastructure provider. Think about us being #1 in servers or compute. Think about us being #1 in external storage or internal storage. Think about us being #1 in converged infrastructure or hyper-converged infrastructure, from our VCE group to now our vBlocks, VxRack, and VxRails. If you think about what we're doing on open networking and how we're driving software-defined networking solutions with NSX and our open networking platforms being #1 there. Probably about 18+ leadership quadrants of Magic Quadrants of Gartner. So we're really excited. So all that is what I say interesting, but why is this fascinating for you? So what I wanted to do is just very quickly, in about 15, 20 minutes, take you through a little bit about what is it that Dell EMC is doing right now in the industry related to Red Hat OpenStack, and what is our strategy there. So great that we're #1 in everything. We actually have a hashtag #1 in everything. And the whole idea behind this is that how do you drive a differentiation in the market by taking the #1 infrastructure company and partnering it with another great OpenStack company, Red Hat? And how do you do that? So, in my role, it's a global role, and some of you or most of you who travel usually from west to east. I'm based out of Toronto, but we're in Boston today, and you go into London. You want to take a jet stream. You want to take advantage of a jet stream that's there. It's about 4 jet streams that are going around the globe. And I'm sure you know the data behind it. It would take you about 7.5 hours without a jet stream to go from Boston to London, UK. With a jet stream, you can probably get it done in about 5 hours and 15 minutes. But if you had a Concorde, if they still made a Concorde, and you put that in a jet streams can go as fast as, by the way, some of the winds, the tailwinds of jet stream is about 160 or up to 190 miles an hour. So imagine you put a Concorde in that jet stream and have that tailwind. It'll get you to London, UK in about 3 hours. That's really what we're doing. We actually internally codenamed our Dell EMC infrastructure, and with Red Hat OpenStack, we codenamed it Jetstream 10. And the whole idea about Jetstream 10 was to ensure that we are providing a differentiation between our #1 position in infrastructure, but then also Red Hat's #1 position in OpenStack. And as we did that, we said, well, should we be going out there and creating a separate ecosystem of OpenStack instead of partnering? And we made the decision from the get-go of it. Since Michael Dell founded the company 31 years ago, it's always been, we provide our customers choice. We stand for open standards. We obviously have opinionated choice. And if we have opinionated choice, how do we ensure that we nurture the existing ecosystem of Red Hat, OpenStack? So as we looked at this, if you take a look at what Red Hat is #1 in, Red Hat being #1 in many of these areas, and OpenStack software, OpenStack validation, software support, they're the world leaders in all of that, all of these areas. Now, if you take a look at the bottom of this slide, it gives you an idea of what is Dell EMC #1 in. And you take a look at, we're #1 in precision-tuned infrastructure. Or if you take a look at what our capabilities are, infrastructure validation, infrastructure support, and making sure that we have a philosophy of being a world leader of infrastructure, with Red Hat OpenStack as a solution. And we think that that philosophy and that approach is the right approach. And we became the first tier 1 vendor to join OpenStack, and also OpenStack community, I should say. And we became the first vendor to also release our OpenStack solution as a tier 1 vendor. So we're really proud of that. But that's all interesting. In this day and age, how do you ensure that, we're talking about containers, we're talking about OpenShift, we're talking about digital transformation, all AI, machine learning. I happen to run the business for Dell EMC. That happens to be our high-performance computing business, our big data analytics business, our hybrid cloud areas of focus with our Converged Platform and Solution division, as well as our business-critical applications and our software-defined solutions. So those are the 5 key areas of priorities we have. So what we're working on is how do we take a partner software like Red Hat OpenStack and take the best of our infrastructure and create ready solutions. So you can either have a ready node, where you take a software and you load it on some compute, and we call that ready nodes, or a ready bundle, or a ready system. Ready systems are really built on top of converged infrastructure and hyper-converged infrastructure, and ready bundles are really built on customers who want choice. And OpenStack, we feel customers and partners want choice, and we want to provide that choice. So if you think about the values that Red Hat has and the values that Dell EMC have, they're very, very intertwined, and we feel that there is a big differentiation there. So as I said, we are not trying to create an OpenStack, our own OpenStack distribution. That's not the plan. There's a bunch of other vendors, partners out there who want to do that, all the way from China to the US to Europe and others. We feel that we need to nurture the Red Hat OpenStack distribution. And not only just say that in words on slides on these keynotes, but actually do the hard work. And what is that hard work? It's ensuring that we can go drive our differentiation by way of creating these ready bundles that have a jet stream effect. And what's the jet stream effect? Jet stream effect means, wouldn't it be nice if we actually gave you deployment guides? We gave you not just reference architectures, but actual runbooks. Wouldn't it be nice if we actually worked on a solution to provide deployment tooling, sizing tooling? So we actually started working on all that. And in my organization, we've got research and development team members, engineering. Some of them have double PhDs. I think our caddy's in the room somewhere here. We were having a conversation last night. Great engineering leaders. And they're really investing a lot of time on creating joint IP that we have now contributed upstream to open source community. So as a Dell EMC infrastructure provider, for us to work on something like that and create a ready bundle that is creating that jet stream and providing our customers an experience so that they can be delighted about, we think that that's really our opportunity. So let me talk about that a little bit. So when you take a look at OpenStack and a lot of the deployments of OpenStack as customers have moved from RHEL to, as they move to OpenStack-based offerings, how do they take advantage of that? Now, obviously Red Hat OpenStack provides a lot of great guidelines and others, and I'm going to have a customer come up and validate all of this for you. How many end customers are in the room? Raise your hand if you are a customer. Right? How many channel partners who provide services in OpenStack ecosystem? Raise your hand if you're that. Okay? And our opportunity really for our customers, so be it public sector or be it finance or manufacturing or commercial or enterprise, our opportunity is to make sure that we make your life easier by providing deployment guides, by providing tooling capabilities and others, but more importantly, providing integration engines like Ceph, Storage Center, OSP Director, Red Hat clustering. We feel that those are solutions that we can validate, that we can harden with our infrastructure, so you don't have to do that, and that becomes an ideal infrastructure stack. That's essentially what Jetstream 10 is internally at Dell EMC. It's essentially precision tuning a lot of that software and architecture together and making sure that we have this interoperability and validated designs on top of this. So that takes the guesswork out of that deployment. Now, what does that mean? So that means that a customer like Steve Black from from East Carolina University, ECU, something that would take them weeks to deploy for OpenStack, we think we can deploy that with the customers much faster. So our customers don't have to take that long. They can, something that would take 3 weeks, they can do it in 3 days. Now, isn't that what the value add of OpenStack should be? Of course, we're talking about AI and we're talking about containers. Right now, I think where we're at is we want to provide scale-out infrastructure. And that's what Red Hat OpenStack has been amazing about. But obviously, in the future, as we move to containers, and that becomes much more of a focus on scale-out applications. Yes, that's important. But today, a lot of our customers, be it telecom providers, do we have any telecom providers in the room? Raise your hand if you're a telecom provider, service provider. Great. So we're seeing a huge influx of interest on network function virtualization, NFVI, as the infrastructure layer on top of NFV is becoming more and more of a reality. As 5G, that my colleague from Sprint was talking about before, as 5G becomes a reality, more and more applications will be served as such because they will see, telecom providers are becoming, they're becoming wary to the fact that, hey, Facebook or a lot of these other web tech providers or app providers are taking a lot of the value add when they're building out the pipes and the infrastructure. And NFV and NFVI really provides them the opportunity to compete in that market. So if those are the workloads that our customers can go deploy, we want to ensure that we can help them deploy this in a much more structured way. So as we look to do this, we want to ensure that we're de-risking your accelerated deployments. What does that mean? So ensuring that we've got professionals that are, our IT professionals that are investing, Dell EMC is investing in a lot of that infrastructure, not just hardware infrastructure, but software infrastructure, along with our scientists and our security teams and our infrastructure teams working on this together, but also open sourcing the experience so that our experience gets leveraged by you as customers and channel partners, and the best practices that we have developed with script and tooling to accelerate that work. So today, I'm happy to publicly announce that we are announcing Dell EMC Jetpack for Red Hat OpenStack platform. So we're now becoming another tier 1 vendor that's actually providing our deployment tooling capabilities that we have built to accelerate deployment of Red Hat OpenStack by way of Jetpack. So you get it, Jetpack, Jetstream. There's a little bit of correlation in this presentation so far. So what Jetpack does, it actually helps you deploy OpenStack 70% faster. So I don't know about you, because when you're deploying OpenStack on environments, we want to make sure that the deployment capability is much, much faster than what it used to be. So we're really excited about this. Our engineering teams, our product management teams, our marketing teams, our alliances teams, our sales teams, they are ecstatic about this. And there's a lot of people here from Dell EMC to talk to you and talk to our customers and partners about how Jetpack can really provide that lifecycle managed capability that's now available in OpenStack upstream in open source environments where customers want to do that. Now, we know what type of customers want to go OpenStack. We know what type of customers want to go traditional routes of virtualization or hyper-converged and others, but that's where choice on open ecosystem comes in. And we feel that our differentiation on providing Jetpack solutions that we have validated, tested, and again, not just keeping it as an IP for Dell EMC as a differentiation to our competitors. We feel that in order for us to truly work in this ecosystem, be it if you're a public sector federal customer, or if you're a bank or a financial institution, or you're a manufacturing house, or you're a university, or you're a telecom provider or a service provider, we really need to provide you these blueprints. And that's really what our team at Dell EMC is excited about. So let me double click on this a little bit more for you and give you an idea of what do you find under these Jetpacks and Jetstreams that we're helping you go from Boston to London, UK much, much faster, right? Our opportunity there is making sure that we've got benchmark Ceph for throughput. We've benchmarked Ceph for IOPS. We've done it for differentiated read-write ratios to figure out what's the greatest terabyte to dollar performance ratios. We've done that already for you. So wouldn't it be nice if you're deploying OpenStack and all of that has already been done for you, that there is a blueprint for it, that's being provided as a ready bundle. So those are the differentiation we have, but on top of that, we also want to right-size your deployment by matching your workload needs. So we know what are some of the persistent workloads that you're using and you're leveraging, and we have tested about 80 different workloads in 10 different OpenStack environments, right? So we've done that already. That's where customers and channel partners can then very quickly, so if you are a customer, you can very quickly deploy an OpenStack solution in your environment versus just playing around with this as a science project. How do you actually deploy it in-house? And that's where our Red Hat sales teams and Dell EMC sales teams together will show up in front of you as customers and help you with that. Now, at the same time, if you're a services partner and you want to leverage this capability, and you say, well, if I can use this Jetpack and these deployment capabilities of the throughput and the IOPS that have already been tested, we want to ensure that there is a comprehensive validation that exists. So we're really excited about that, too. The next thing we're excited about is where are we going next? So far I talked about OpenStack, I talked about Jetpack. Now where are we going next? We're moving to containers. We're moving to ensuring that we've got OpenShift and Kubernetes as we're testing together. Dell EMC has a code division, which has actually just released a RexRay, which is to deliver persistent storage on containers on Ceph. So that's the next work that we're doing, but we really want to perfect the work with OpenStack. And I want to make it very clear. Right now, we're super focused on OpenStack. We want to ensure that we're delighting our customers in those verticals that I talked about. So all that is great, and we've got professional services capabilities that exist for this. That if you feel like that you want consulting capabilities and you want professional services capabilities, that we can provide that to you. And that's, by the way, our ready bundle solutions that we have. But we also realize that a lot of our customers may want a data center as a utility model, or as a metering model, or as a consumption model. So Dell EMC also has a very large bank under Dell, where we provide Dell Financial Services, and this is not a leasing, old leasing ways of consuming. This is consumption-based models, pay as you grow. You buy this infrastructure, but you're only using this part of the infrastructure, so rather than going to a public cloud like AWS, you actually use a metering capability and consumption capability and pay as you go. And as you start using more of the infrastructure of our ready bundle with OpenStack, Red Hat OpenStack, you can leverage that. So let me make it all real for you, and let me invite Steve Black up to the stage from East Carolina University to tell you exactly how they're using a ready bundle solution. So Steve, do you want to come out? Thank you for joining us.
No problem.
Appreciate it. So first of all, I know you had a very long trip. You didn't get a jet stream, right?
No.
You came from from North Carolina.
Yep.
Came up to LaGuardia, and then from LaGuardia there was no jet stream. There was no. There was a lot of fog.
I spent about 14 hours in LaGuardia, so I definitely did not catch the jet stream.
There was no jet stream. But the good news is you were able to leverage a lot of the ready bundle solutions that we have developed. So tell us a little bit about East Carolina University, and your project of Red Hat OpenStack.
All right. So I work for East Carolina University. We have 12 colleges, and specifically I work for a department called Information Technology and Computing Services. What we do is we provide hosting for a lot of the public-facing services that the university uses, and along with providing services to those 12 colleges.
Great. So, I just talked about, and you and I were talking about this in the green room as well, right? Which is deployment times for OpenStack, right? And the business benefits of deploying OpenStack. So why did you choose to deploy OpenStack in the first place? Forget Dell EMC infrastructure, but why did you choose to deploy OpenStack? What were the business drivers for that?
So one of our biggest challenges were capital expenses, and the way we get money within the organization is generally based on projects. So we were looking at a very flexible and scalable solution, as well as becoming more agile. So we really found out that OpenStack was the way to go.
So was it CapEx or was it OpEx that you were looking to reduce by way of going OpenStack?
Yes, it was actually both. Capital expenses being for the servers that we had, but also we have a very limited staff to be able to support a very wide ecosystems of technologies, right? So we run every type of software you can imagine. 3 of our biggest public-facing services are our enterprise resource planning software called Banner. We also have a learning management system called Blackboard, and we also host the main website. And those are all using a variety of technologies. So we needed to standardize our platform.
Fantastic. And then finally, maybe Steve, you can touch a little bit on the Ready Bundle solutions and the Jetpack tooling, deployment tooling that you used. I know I just told the audience that something that would take three weeks can be done in 3 hours. What was your experience? How long did that take for you to deploy our Ready Bundle, the Dell EMC Ready Bundle for Red Hat OpenStack?
Yeah, so our original deployment, we had around 3 weeks to deploy it. We actually spent the first week going over hardware and all the reference architecture and all the documentation. The actual deployment, we have 2 data centers. So we were able to deploy both data centers in the same day. I would say they took around 3 hours to deploy.
That's awesome. I mean, to deploy OpenStack in 3 hours for that type of a cluster and using ERP as an application, I mean, that's nothing to, to think that, hey, OpenStack is your grandfather's OpenStack that takes way longer and others. This is all about OpEx, right? And how do you go deploy this? And that's really been our focus. Well, listen, Steve, thank you for sharing the stage with me and sharing the story of a great customer, and I appreciate the partnership. Thank you for coming up.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. So in the end, for Dell EMC, it's all about customers, delighting our customers, partnering with our customers, and providing the differentiation. Thank you for your time. I appreciate the time today, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Take care.